For over a century, global power was tethered to liquid fuel. The nations that controlled the oil fields controlled the flow of the global economy. Today, that foundation is changing. Arid landscapes are being repurposed to extract specific elements buried deep underground: lithium, cobalt, and rare earth metals. These materials are rarely seen in their raw form, but they are the physical building blocks of modern life, required for the batteries in smartphones, the magnets in wind turbines, and circuitry in electric vehicles. Influence no longer rests purely on who pumps the most crude out of the earth. Instead, leverage is moving toward the nations that control the raw materials needed for advanced electronics and power grids. This chart compares the raw material requirements of modern transportation. An electric vehicle requires several times more mineral volume and a wider variety of specialized elements than a traditional gasoline-powered car. Scaling this to a national level requires massive amounts of infrastructure. Manufacturing battery packs for energy storage and outfitting solar and wind farms consumes millions of tons of copper and rare earths annually. Artificial intelligence is accelerating this trend. Processing massive data sets requires a physical infrastructure that is growing larger and more complex. To keep these data centers running, facilities require heavy-duty electrical hardware and specialized cooling systems, creating a surge in the demand for specialized metals. If the supply of these minerals is interrupted, both the deployment of renewable energy and the expansion of digital computing will stall. Extracting these rocks from the earth is only the first step. The real strategic advantage lies further down the supply chain. This map tracks global raw ore movement. Mined in South America, Africa, or Australia, the vast majority is sent to a single destination: China. Since China dominates refining, raw minerals are transformed there before returning globally as usable components. By controlling the refining stage, one nation effectively gains the ability to influence manufacturing timelines for the entire global electronics industry. This creates a concentration of power the global market has never had to manage before, making the transition away from fossil fuels reliant on a single point of failure. In response to this critical vulnerability, governments around the world are racing to import and stockpile huge reserves of processed minerals. Billions of dollars in subsidies are being routed to fast-track domestic mining and build localized refining facilities to break the current monopoly. Diplomats are traveling across resource-rich regions, competing to lock down exclusive long-term supply contracts before their rivals can. This rapid expansion carries severe collateral damage. Accelerated extraction is leaving massive ecological scars across forests and relying heavily on vulnerable local labor. Minerals are no longer traded as simple commercial goods. Nations are now managing these rocks with the same urgency as military assets. If export restrictions are imposed on these materials, the effects would be immediate. Manufacturing for electronics and batteries would halt within weeks. This chart shows how mineral scarcity directly affects the consumer. As supply drops, the cost of smartphones and electric vehicles rises, contributing to inflation across the broader economy. The risk extends to national defense. Modern military hardware depends entirely on complex, mineral-intensive electronics. Fighter jets, precision-guided missiles, and radar arrays require specific rare earth elements that are currently processed almost exclusively by foreign powers. A nation that cannot source these minerals cannot sustain its own defense systems. This reality has made economic security indistinguishable from national security. To find a way around these choke points, geologists are drilling in unmapped, hostile environments to locate untapped mineral veins. Simultaneously, laboratories are working to develop alternative battery chemistries that rely on abundant materials like sodium or iron rather than monopolized minerals. The ultimate winner of this race may not be the country that digs the most holes, but the one that engineers a way to bypass the current choke points. The resource map that defined the 20th century is being redrawn. Strategic leverage is moving from those who control oil to those who supply the materials required for high-capacity batteries and semiconductors. The high-tech systems we rely on today are made possible only by a difficult physical struggle happening deep underground. The countries that successfully secure these mineral chains today will hold the most significant advantage in the next phase of industrial competition.